Yes, 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 yes. Bless up, everybody. This is Paul Newell checking in. And it's Father's Day. It's Father's Day. Today's Father's Day. And this video that I'm going to be sharing with you all today is about my personal journey of fatherhood and what the heck that even looks like. Ty Holmes, bless up. I see you, bro. Listen, out here, Ty, brother, this dude just wrote a book for kids. Ty the Great, I think it is. Ty, put it in there if you can put the link in. What a blessing to talk about father energy, and part of what men like Tyrone are doing is what I'm gonna be talking about today. So in this live broadcast this is about changing fatherhood into father energy. And the reason why I wanted to present this is because for me, fatherhood has been far from easy. It's been a freaking train wreck, actually, to be perfectly honest, to be transparent, in my perspective anyway. And I had a post earlier in the week about perspective, but it's to be frank, in many cases, it's broken my heart. So I've had to, for years and years and years, that anger and the resentment and just the sentiment I had towards being a father and the situation that I was in and like what I was experiencing, I grew to really despise being a father. And I knew, for me as a man and for the things that I'm doing out here in the world, this type of energy had to transmute. I had to shift it into something different. And that's when this whole concept of father energy started to come about. I started creating this book. I think it was last year when and the book is going to be, I'm not going to tell you what the book is called, but it's about fathers, it's about dads. And I started writing this book when I was going through a situation last year with doing a parenting time case or motion down in Florida to see a son that I wasn't seeing. I wasn't getting alienated from, no connection, nothing like that. Part of it was just like I was tired and fed up, and then also was that end wasn't getting any feedback. So anyway, so when I was going through the parenting time and also got a paternity test, I found that the child that I thought was mine, and I was paying child support for, visiting and all that stuff, was not mine. So that took me for a spin, and that started me exercising the energy of neutrality. And when I started diving into that, I was like, wait, man, there's something else here, because I started to see fatherhood completely different. So it was giving me the opportunity to detach from the experiences I was having in family court, being alienated, being disrespected by children, even like being disengaged from schools and therapists and all this stuff. It was just a complete train wreck. So I started to see from a father's perspective what was going on out here in the world and how we were getting engaged. So I thought it was necessary for me to transition into father energy and experience what that's like. And then that gave me the opportunity, space to question everything about who I was, how I was showing up. So first, to define fatherhood energy, right? And to dive into, and welcome those that are viewing. If you have some comments, please feel free, or some things that you want to experience or that you've experienced or how you experience father energy or fatherhood, put it in the chat. God damn it. So listen, so talking first about traditional fatherhood. And traditional fatherhood is defined by the proximity in their collective, and I'm open to feedback. And from what I've experienced, it's defined by proximity, legal status, performance. From a man's perspective, like, hey, listen, it's I gotta provide, I gotta protect, and I'm doing these things. So it's like this quote unquote how a father shows up. Now the thing I challenge you with is what happens when those things are not there, right? So what happens when the dad is not showing up? What happens when the father is getting pushed out? What happens when there's a court situation? So now there's a whole slew of things that can disrupt the actual definition of what father, or perception of what fatherhood is. So what happens when the system takes those types of things about a father away? When society tells the father that you're no longer a father, you don't matter. So this is when as I mentioned, this is when the father energy came through, and I recognized the father energy is not about titles. Okay, it's about presence. It's about purpose. It's about provision beyond biology. So what I'm talking about with that is that having that provision role for a community, for a group, for a person that's outside that's outside your bloodline. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of there. there's probably someone in your life that was like a father to you, and it was outside of your real father. That's the father energy I'm talking about. So for cats out here that don't even have kids, you got father energy, because most likely you're doing something like around, like, to guide, to instruct, to shift. So again, this is when I started looking at this father energy. This is really like about, maybe I can use this as a way of being a transmitter of presence, of wisdom, of alignment. And so that's when I started really defining, like, yo, what could this, like, what is father energy? Like, what could that even look like, man? Like, dang. And that's when I started looking at it as grounded leadership. I started looking at it as emotional maturity. So that's when I started using this thing called the feelings wheel. If anybody's ever familiar with it, you look it up online. It gives me a way of, like, they talk about men got to feel, blah, blah, blah. We all get to use emotional intelligence and mature, but being mature about it is really, okay, here's how I see it is, I got the identifier of what the emotion is. Now I can expand out, like really dive into what is going on for me. Right. So now this helps me and the emotional maturity is me being able to communicate that effectively so someone else gets it. Now there's also a spiritual responsibility with this, because I think taking on this father energy from an indigenous perspective, that's like father sky, like they say, our father. What we do, we look up father sky. That's energy. That's nature. What does that do? That provides sunshine, nourishment, right? So looking at that from a spiritual perspective, I started seeing this, like, man, like, even though I may not get along with my kid, or maybe we never talk, I can still be there for him in presence and spirit. Like, whether that's prayer, whether it's meditation, seeing and visioning, whatever that is, I can still have ways of being with that kid and protecting and providing, creating an environment for their growth. Now, this is also what leads into what I thought I looked at as compassionate authority. So sometimes, like, one of the things that really was painful for me was being outside of my kid's life, and then like wanting to, like, seeing things that are going wrong, right? And seeing, like, oh man, I want you to avoid that. I don't want you to experience what I experienced. And if you're watching this, you may have had some words for yourself saying, I don't want to do what my dad did, or I don't want to do this. And that in itself, what I would say, that put me in a box of, like, well, even though I say I'm not going to be like this dude, that put me in, that put limits on me. So when I say that, it's basically those limits. This is self-sovereignty. This is also self-sovereignty. It's having compassion for myself and having compassion for others. When I talk about not seeing my kid and things like this, really it's about, man, like, I can still be a presence for him, right? Because, like, that is, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase it, right? Like, it's basically how I've seen this is me not being around him. Like, it's like me as that compassionate authority taking my hands off the wheel. Because I found, like, especially being a non-custodial dad, like, I wanted to try to control more things. So how I saw that was like, oh man, this is really tough, because I want to control, but at the same time, I got to ease off. And that was something I had to work on for myself too. So I'm still working through it. I ain't gonna kid you, man. I'm still working through that judge. But when I see something like this, right? And when I step into this father energy, it's really about that presence, like the purpose and power, like really getting the power back. Because I think in our society, especially how fathers are treated in family courts, I think they're basically pushed to the side, right? So their power is being taken away, and it breaks wills. It breaks wills. Like, there's people that, man, when they go through the family, I met dudes like in family court. They're like, yo, man, I'm tired of this, man. I'm done. Then all of a sudden the guy's out, and then the dude gets to live over a deadbeat. Like, man, he's been going to court, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes people just give up. And listen, I ain't gonna kid you. There's been times I'm like, I'm done with this. Thank goodness for community. Because my boys and people I love were like, yo, man, you got to get back in this, man. Like, so now, reason why I say all that is because, like, this father energy is also about reclaiming the power if you as a father in your experience have lost power. So being in this, I don't need a court ruling to tell me how to embody this energy. I don't need a child in my arms to radiate this energy in the world. It's about how I'm showing up for myself, for others, and for this collective. So as I'm looking at this, this is about making room. And when I see this, when I say making room, it's releasing a need to be seen a certain way. It's releasing the old expectations. It's releasing bitterness. God, is it releasing bitterness? Like I gotta tell you, like I used to couldn't stand Father's Day. I'm like, I hate this trash, this bull stuff. Today I'm like, yo, bless up to the dads. I feel super calm. I'm like, this is great, man. And again, that's that I'm letting go of the bitterness. Like I had failed to recognize how much that junk was I was holding on to. Golly. So I'm asking my guys that are in a situation similar to I've been in, where you've had a rough experience as a father. What would you need to release in your own identity as a father or a man? What would you need to release, right? If you've been having a horrible piss poor experience, what is it that you get to release? Because you can hold it if you want to. You can also hold the love. Yeah, thank you. Yes, man. Bless up, Healing Arts Gallery. Yeah, thank you. Happy Father's Day to you too. And this is what's the beautiful thing about this, right? It's like father energy, whatever your experience is, yo, you're blessing up the dads that are in and that are putting in the work, baby. Like bless up to my dudes, my guy Corey that's on the line, men mentoring men, man. Like my man Vern Thomas, like all these cats out here doing the work. I bless up to you. And by me releasing those expectations, that bitterness, I could come to that place of offering that from such a deep love, man, such a deep appreciation. So when I go through this and as I'm embodying this, I want to go over a couple last minute things. Because like when I was going through and preparing this, I was like, oh man, there's a couple, this is pretty cool. I'm like, yo, you know what, man? I'm going to talk about these steps that people could do. Cause I like the action steps, right? If you follow my thing, I like the action steps. So here's how it goes, right? The first one is define father energy for you, right? So ask yourself, how do I want to show up in the world as father energy? All right. So that could be looking at your values, your behaviors, your presence that you associate with father energy. Action step number 2, it's releasing. Have a ritual for releasing. So if you're having a piss poor experience as a father, have some way to release that energy so you can settle back into yourself. That could be a lot of different things, my friends. That could be writing a letter to like the fatherhood role. This is a suggestion from the chat. I'm like ChatGPT. I'm like, yo, this is a great suggestion. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I got the suggestion from that. So yeah, back to action step number 2. What have you in the letter for the fatherhood or that role? What have you learned, lost, or ready to release, right? And after you write that letter, you could burn that junk and put it away. Action step number 3, reclaim your identity beyond the role. So finish this sentence, my guys. I am a man who learns, teaches, and guides. I am a man that loves to draw. I am a man that loves the Knicks. I am a man that whatever it is, who are you as a man? Like define that. Name yourself beyond the father role. Are you a mentor? And some of the things I was thinking of: mentor, guide, healer, leader, creator. How are you identifying as a man, and also within the family unit? And then action step numero 4, practice presence. So this is how I practice this is active listening. Listening to what people say and reflecting back to them. So this is also offering wisdom free of control. This is another big one for me, man, because I realized I was trying to control stuff and it was making me even more bitter. And affirming someone's growth. So listen, again, being able to say to someone like, hey, I see you, I appreciate what you do, I see how you're growing. That type of energy, for you to say that to someone else, that's father energy, because you're acknowledging this person's growth. Action step number 5, create your father energy pillars. So what are 3 to 5 values that can help guide you? So for me, one of the things that's helped guide me is presence, patience, and breath, right? Presence, patience, and breath. Because when I have those 3, I'm free of having an amygdala hijack and I don't blow up at people. All right. So what are your values? Again, integrity, patience, leadership, nourishment, whatever that is, post them somewhere that's visible to you so that you can have them and reflect them on a regular basis. I like the, if you're doing something like that, I like the mirror. Put it on the mirror and you're good to go. And then action step number 6, join a brotherhood, join a circle. And this is you're gonna be seeing more things from me on this, on a cohort I have coming up called Blueprints. Blueprints was part of Blueprints came from Father Energy, came from the book I have coming up. And this is about helping men to define or unearth how they show up as specific blueprints, the blueprint or the archetype of a lover, of a warrior, of a magician, of a king. What are those types of energies that are in us, and where do we get them from? Do they still align? Do we want them? So this is a great way to get in connection with others. This is going to be a group. It's going to be a cohort. I'm looking for 10 guys. Right now, I got 3. So 10 guys to join this. And this is about helping men level up. Helping men level up, man. And embody something that they may have lost or never even knew that they had. So as we wrap up here, last reflection point, what does father energy mean to you? What does it mean to you? Like, take that time to really think about that. And the other one is I have, where are you ready to let go of roles and step into a father essence? Yes, yes, yes. And so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for showing up. And listen, if you have yet to get the book, hold on. If you have yet to get the book, get the book. I'm going to present this right here. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, here we go. Present. So, hey, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Until next time, peace.